Hi there. So where I grew up, we lived next to a river. It was a really wide river. So what they had was this boat, this car ferry, that used to take you from one side to the other. And to me, as a child, it seemed so wide, such an effort to be able to get from one side to the other, and had to do it every time. And now I'm working with people in their careers. When they want to take a jump from one industry to another, or one profession to another, their perception of that gap between where they are and where they want to get to is so wide, and it prevents them from taking that step in their career. So if you want to take a step in your career and you want to jump industry or function, and the gap for you seems really wide and it prevents you from taking action, stick around, because I'm going to talk about how you can make it happen for yourself. So what I'm going to talk about is how I coach people to career pivot across industries or into other functions, so into a new profession. And for you, this is about you on two angles feeling better about this. One is that you are aware of the gap and how big that gap is in your mind. The second is that you have a process to actually move forward and to be able to do it for yourself. So the story is that I'm currently coaching a guy who's been in the media industry for 20 years, been in media sales, and he wants to make a jump into consulting. He wants to move across into a consulting practice, and he's got a particular passion about solving solving a problem that industry is facing. The challenge for him is that in his current role, he's got a real lack of meaning. So he's been doing it a long time and doesn't really want to be doing it anymore, and find it fun. He doesn't find it fun or stimulating. He's got a lack of balance because he's spending a lot of time doing something he really isn't loving, but he's spending a lot of hours doing it. And the third thing is that he wants a refresh, right? He wants to move to something that's going to set him up for the next 20 years of his life, because he can't see himself doing this for the next 20. So here's the problem though. The problem is that there's a perception of a gap between where he is and where he wants to get to. And what you got to realize that when you want to make a shift, that at some level that gap is real, right? From the perspective of the target company or people that you want to work for, they want to see someone who's got experience in the particular sector and that can help them add value to their customers, right? But you also got to recognize that some of that gap is perceived, because at some level you've had some experiences in your life and your job already that close that real gap, that enable you to be closer to that new job or new industry than you actually think. What will move you forward is actually taking action and having a process to do it. So this is what I've been working with this person on doing. First is, on any change, on any transition, if you're serious about it, set a date. If you're not willing to set a date, you're not really serious about it. So set a date upon which that you want to target being in the new thing, right? So you've got your own risk comfort with this. It could be a year away, it could be 18 months away. But actually set that date and write it down, all right? And tell your family and friends about it, right? Because the more you tell people about it, the more they're going to hold you to it. Second is identify who your target is, right? Identify a range of either companies or an industry that you want to move into, and actually write down who they are and research what they need, right? Research what's going on with their customers and what's going on in their industry. And for the guy I'm talking with, to give you an example, the consulting companies he's targeting are interested in the media industry, right? So he's got now a way in to be able to position himself, and that's who we're targeting. Third thing is research the types of roles that they hire and where you might fit, right? So given your current skills, what sort of roles and where might you fit? Not because we're trying to create a role or be hired into a role, but because you need to be able to have a conversation with them and they need to be able to fit you into a certain spot. The fourth thing is about how then you prepare yourself to get the job. Prepare yourself to be someone that they want, right? So that you reduce this perceived gap. And the guy I'm working with, there's basically two streams of activity we're working on. One is I'm saying to him, right, the competencies of a consultant. let's just practice those now, right? Don't wait until you're in the job. Become a consultant now. So we've made a whole list of things around the language he needs to use, the types of processes he needs to use, the way he needs to speak, and that all needs to become different. Not from this date onwards, but now until that day. Because that will do two things. If you practice it now, when he turns up at the interview, he's going to be actually ready, or when he goes through the recruitment process, he'll be ready because he'll have stories of things that he's done. And second, he'll sound like he's already the guy that they want. Okay? So practice it now and develop some stories of the experiences that can prove that you can do what you need to do for that role. The fifth is you need to build a network in that new target space. So what I recommend there is work with your first level connections. So the first ring of your network, the people you know best, to get referrals into into their network of people that are in this new target space. So for him, what that means is he's got some people he knows well who have got connections into that industry. And what you want to do is go and talk to them, do your research about what's important in that industry now, and as well as that, find avenues of people you can talk to about potential jobs. So as a summary, if you want to jump industries or into a new profession and you see a big perceived gap, it's not as big as you think it is, and there is a process you can follow. Set a date, target who you want to go to, research what they need, start practicing now, develop stories of your new experiences in the area, and create a network by leveraging other people's networks. What I've been talking about is how you make a jump when you see a big perceived gap from the industry you're into another industry, or from a job function you're into another job function. If that's you and you need help, you know where to find me. Send me a message, connect me, and I can talk about how I can help you. But if you're thinking about this for yourself, I want you to leave me a comment. What holds you back from doing this, and how has this helped you move forward from making the jump that you want to make? Talk to you soon on The Reason and the Road.